Okay, welcome everybody. So excited for this event and the privilege of having Brittney Howard, who is one of my dearest friends. I'm just not even going to try to be super professional here because I'm just so blessed by her. And it's just such a privilege that she is here and she's going to be sharing with us what Plexus has meant in her life as far as the products, but then also with the business opportunity. But I'm so grateful that you all are here and that you carved out the time to come and set aside this just to come learn some more. And I know, and I guarantee you that you will leave inspired and so excited for what this could mean for you. So I'm gonna let Brittney pray over our event and
awesome. Well, thank y'all for being here. And Kaylene, I'm blessed by you too. Look at this room of beautiful, precious people. Look what you have cultivated. I'm so incredibly proud. So thank you all for coming. I know there's a lot of things y'all could be doing on a Saturday morning, and you carved out time to hang out with us. So we're really grateful. And we don't think it's an accident that you're here. And we hope that whatever you hear inspires you, that you learn something, that you leave with hope. And we're just glad you're here. So I will pray to get us started. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this time that we've set aside to be together and come and learn about some products that have changed our lives. And we thank you so much for the gift of Plexus, for what these products have done for us, for what this opportunity means to us and our families. Lord, the people who are supposed to be here today are here. And we pray that you would help the speakers to say what needs to be said. Pray that you'd open minds and hearts to hear it. Pray for the nerves of the people who are speaking or training today. And just pray that you'd be honored and glorified through all of it. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. So we are going to open it up with a testimonial, and Becca Sauer is going to come share. I didn't really know Becca, but we became friends on Facebook. She was friends of family, and we have just grown such a strong friendship, and just seeing you come to life and find freedom. So go ahead.
Well, like she said, my name is Becca Sauer, and I'm so honored to get to share today. When I was asked to share, I was thinking, you know, what can I look up, you know, that maybe a lot of people are struggling with these days? And I think a lot of people, unfortunately, are struggling with autoimmune disease. And yes, it's true. And so I decided to look up endometriosis, and actually March is like known as Endometriosis Awareness Month. So I'm not necessarily a researcher or a facts person, but I thought, well, maybe some people that are going to be here are. So some facts about endometriosis is that, did you know that it affects 11% or 6.5 million women in America, and specifically between the ages of 15 and 44. It's an autoimmune disease, and it is inflammatory driven. So endometriosis, I will be saying endo for short because otherwise I'll be tongue-tied. So endo, it actually happens when tissue that's similar to the lining of the uterus, it grows outside of your uterus and other areas of your body where it really does not belong. It's found on your ovaries, on your fallopian tubes, tissues around the uterus. It also grows in the vagina, the cervix, bowels, bladder, and even the rectum. So some of the symptoms of endometriosis include pain, very intense pain, menstrual cramps, very heavy flow between your cycles, intestinal pain, pain with urinating, bleeding and spotting between cycles, pain during and after sex, often described as very deep pain, infertility, crazy wackadoodle, that's my own word, wackadoodle hormones. That was not in the research material. Headaches, extreme fatigue, digestion issues like IBS, bloating, diarrhea, nausea, and even fibroids, cysts, sugar addiction. So you might be asking yourself, why are we talking about this in so much detail? Because these symptoms that I'm describing, it's me. These were my symptoms, and this is my health story. I had just had a laparoscopic surgery to officially diagnose me with stage 4 endometriosis, which is the worst and the most severe. It also included a removal of my right fallopian tube, and also, unfortunately, got the news that I had no viable eggs in my ovaries, which means no IVF. I had been on medication, and it just was really not kind to my body. My hormones were really crazy, like I said, and the insomnia from hot flashes was insane. Like, covers on, covers off, covers on, covers off, all night long. I was angry. I was angry at my body. I was sad. I felt shame from infertility. I felt hopeless, and I was praying for an answer. And then enter plexus. So I began to address the 3 main pillars of health: my inflammation, blood sugar balance, and gut health that you're going to hear about today, these products. And I also added a product called Ease, which has been literally life-changing for me. I'm just so thankful to say that I am pain-free, that I don't have bloating, I don't have those hot flashes anymore. My bathroom habits are normal, my hormones are more balanced, I have energy to play with my kids, but most importantly, it has literally transformed my husband and my relationship in the bedroom department, because that is important as a wife. It has been life-giving to me and my family. And so I'm just so forever grateful that someone reached out to me or I reached out to her and said, what is this? Do you think that this will help me with my autoimmune disease? So, thank you.
Becca, that's the first time I've heard your story, and I definitely was tearing up. Very inspiring, and I'm so glad that you found plexus. So you're probably going to hear a lot of stories similar to that, but also very different than that. Sometimes it might seem like, if you hang around long enough, that plexus does everything for everybody except fold their laundry for them. And we are working on that. With 6 kids, I could use that solution. So, but yeah, so supplements, why are they even important? Most people don't even realize why supplements are important. That's what plexus is. It's supplements. It's not food, but it's basically supplementing what is missing from our nutrition. Because in this day and age, supplements are imperative if you want to maintain or achieve optimal health. You have to have them. 50 years ago, a bowl of spinach would have sufficed nutritionally. What our grandparents ate, the food was different. Now it is majorly lacking. And so even if you eat very clean and very healthy, which I do try to do, you're still missing some things. And we are one of the sickest nations in the world. And it's not because we don't eat enough food, right? It's because the food we do eat is lacking in nutrition. So that is why supplements are important. So most people know that, you should eat healthy if you want to take care of your body and your health. You should move your body. God designed us to work and move and produce. But most people don't understand what's missing, which is supplementation. And that is important this day and age because of what's been done to our food supply, how industrialized everything has become. The crops aren't rotated, like it's just deficient. Our water is filtered. I could go on and on. Also, environmental toxins we're exposed to on a daily basis and growing. And also just like a lot of stress. Stress takes a toll on your body. Anybody in here feel stressed ever? Anybody? Okay, just me? Okay, must be the kids. All right, so let's talk about supplements. This is where plexus comes in. So our supplements they're from plants. They're natural. There's nothing in there that's going to alter you biochemically. This is not medicine and it's not food, it's supplements. And I would like to start by talking about our pink drink. Do we have a pink? Oh, there's one right there. All right, so it comes in a stick pack like this. We have 2 variations of it, 2 different flavor choices. But you just put it in a bottle of water, shake it up, it dissolves. It tastes amazing. And I want to tell you what it does. Basically, you just drink it once a day. It's a supplement that is in the form of a drink versus something like a pill or a capsule. And I actually wish it was not called Plexus Slim. That is the name of the pink drink, Plexus Slim. I wish it was called Plexus Balance. Somebody should ask my opinion on these things, but they don't. Who do I need to talk to up there? But anyways, I wish it was called Balance because of what it does. I mean, so it was designed, it was the reason it was formulated in the first place was for type 2 diabetics. It actually helps to balance your blood sugar. But in the trials and the testing, what they found was that all of the diabetics who took it lost weight as a side effect. And wouldn't you rather market something that helps you lose weight versus something for type 2 diabetics, which doesn't apply to most people? So it's way more marketable to talk about something that helps you lose weight. So that's why they called it Slim. And but that doesn't take away from the fact of what it actually does do. So when I first heard that this helps balance your blood sugar, I cared about 0% about that because I'm like, well, it's just I'm not a diabetic, that doesn't apply. But let me tell you why that is important. The vast majority of health issues that we deal with as Americans have the same root issues that cause them. Almost everything. No, I mean, there's a few exceptions. Some things are genetic and other things, but almost everything can be traced back to imbalanced blood sugars over time, or poor gut health, or inflammation. And those three things are related. One affects the other and can cause issues with the other. So that's why Plexus supplements specifically are different from other supplements that you could get at like Walmart or CVS or whatever's on the corner store, because our supplements get to the root of the problem. Our supplements address those three core issues that can manifest themselves in so many different ways. So balancing your blood sugar specifically is important because insulin is the master hormone. Insulin is the hormone that God gave us to keep our blood sugar normal. You need blood sugar because that's what gives your body the energy to do the work that it does, right? It keeps us alive. But an insulin is the hormone, like when you eat something, your body breaks it down, puts it in all the places it needs to go all over your body, and your body converts your food into sugar that gets work done, produces energy. However, you only need a little bit. If your blood sugar is too high, it's very toxic, can cause nerve damage and all kinds of things. Just ask somebody with type 2 diabetes. They will tell you what nerve damage is like. So you can't have too high of a level of blood sugar in your body where it causes damage. But also it can't go too low or you die. You would literally die. So it's got to stay in like a range. And insulin is the hormone that keeps it in that normal range. But insulin is so very powerful, and you only need a teeny tiny bit of it for it to get its job done. So what happens with most Americans is that we flood our systems with insulin because we eat way too many carbs and unhealthy food. And so it would be kind of like if you walked in this room and there's like a beautiful orchestra playing music up there, and it makes you feel peaceful inside and like all is right in the world, and you just pause and you get still and you just listen, and then suddenly every single person playing an instrument just plays their instrument as loud as they can play it. What's the first thing you're going to do? You're probably going to put your hand over your ears, right? Try to block it out, protect yourself, because what was once a good thing can actually now cause damage. So insulin, that hormone, is like that. We only need a tiny bit of it, and it's designed to be good. But when we flood our systems with it on a constant basis, then our cells begin to block it out. And that is called insulin resistance. And you don't want your cells to be resistant to that hormone insulin, because it's like the key that unlocks the door to your cells so that you can get nutrients into your cells, right? So a lot of times we look around Americans and we think, oh, we have way too much nutrition. Actually, we're undernutritioned. And when you have sugar cravings and stuff like that, it's not because you're eating too much, it's because your cells aren't getting what they need. It causes you to crave more food, even though you've eaten plenty, because your cells are blocking out the hormone that would get the nutrients from your food into your cells. So that is malnutrition. It's the opposite of overnutrition, right? So you don't want your cells blocking out that hormone. So that hormone, insulin, master hormone in your body. It affects every other hormone in your body. So when your insulin is balanced, all of your hormones can become balanced, and then your body feels balanced again. That's why I wish this drink was called Plexus Balance. Again, they need to ask my opinion on these things. So anyways, when insulin resistance can cause, it can manifest itself in a whole lot of different things. Things like diabetes, obviously, so high blood sugar, things like low blood sugar. These are all signs and symptoms of insulin resistance that has gone on too long over time. High blood pressure is caused by insulin resistance. High cholesterol is caused by insulin resistance. High inflammatory markers, heart disease, stroke, migraines, hormone problems like PCOS or other hormone imbalances. And even if you don't have a diagnosis, which a lot of people don't, they don't necessarily feel their best, but they don't have a diagnosis yet. And so they just think, oh, this is normal because it's how they're used to living. But there are some precursors, some signs and symptoms that if you let them go, they will 5 to 10 years from now manifest themselves into a diagnosis. Okay. So things like secreting, like holding a whole lot of fat around your middle, being tired all the time or just low energy, sugar cravings, or like feeling hungry or craving sugar at like after meals, being excessively thirsty, that afternoon crash. Anybody ever been sitting in the carpool line and get very sleepy waiting to pick up your kids? Okay. Things like insomnia, all kind of autoimmune issues. So all of these things are precursors that you should not ignore or let go. Okay. And that's why our pink drink is important, because it's going to help balance. The reason why it balances is because it actually makes your body more sensitive to that master hormone. That's what it does. So that is our pink drink. Kaylene is going to share with you guys about our gut health products, Probio 5 and BioCleanse.
Okay. So this happens to be one of my most favorite supplements, and I'm not a supplement guru, but since starting Plexus, this BioCleanse has brought life to my body. So basically what it is, it's a magnesium vitamin C supplement that when you think cleanse, you might think on the bathroom all the time and discomfort and can't go on with life. This is a very gentle cleanse. And so this just helps get your body moving and gets things going. And our products are bioavailable. So it means that the enzymes are live, they're active. So as soon as they get in our system, they are right in action. And so BioCleanse, because it is a magnesium supplement, I'm going to share with you some things that are connected to magnesium deficiency, which many of these things are things that I suffered with. And so you'll find anxiety, panic attacks, because magnesium keeps stress hormones under control. Asthma, which is a deficiency with histamine production and bronchial spasms. Blood clots, magnesium helps thin blood, and we're like aspirin, but it doesn't have the side effects. Bowel disease, malabsorption of nutrients, which leads to colitis, things like that. So magnesium helps prevent that. Cystitis, depression, serotonin, which elevates the moods, all of that is developed in your gut. And so having that BioCleanse, that magnesium helps address that. Helps with the detoxification processes. So what we do with our gut health system, it's helping detox your body with all the toxins that are built up over time. And so it's just vital to this whole system that we're sharing with you with the pink drink, which contains the prebiotics that feed the good bacteria that our probiotic is putting in your gut. But back to magnesium, a few more things: hypertension, hypoglycemia, insomnia, I had that, kidney disease, liver disease, migraines, musculoskeletal conditions, nerve problems, gynecology issues, osteoporosis, Raynaud's syndrome, tooth decay. All of this can be caused from a magnesium deficiency. So if any of these things are like, oh, yeah, I experienced that. Oh, I know somebody. We all know somebody. This is vital to wellness and for overall health. I'm just going to transition right next to our ProBio, and I'm just pull up my notes for a second. My phone locked up. So here I am. I'm improvising and it's okay. So our probiotic, this also is a powerhouse probiotic because it has an antifungal in it, which is pronounced how, Autumn? How did you pronounce it?
Yes. Well, I just.
Well, I've tried pronouncing it too. Do you know the proper way of pronouncing?
I was waiting on.
Yeah. Well, I was way off. So it is an antifungal, and it basically what it does is it has the power to eat through a cockroach's shell. And so when you look at pictures of a stopped up tunnel or a pipe in the bathroom, that really is like what your gut is over years of toxins being built up. And so this probiotic has the power to address that, start cleaning it out. And then the BioCleanse helps flush everything so that the toxins that are being released aren't being stored back in our fat, but they're actually being eliminated from our system. And so it's a powerhouse. You'll hear about all the billion CFU, all of that every probiotic contains. Plexus doesn't need to have all of that because it's got the live enzymes and it goes directly to your gut and addresses the issues right away. So probiotics, typically, they say they have to be refrigerated. Ours doesn't because when they say that the probiotics have to be refrigerated because once they hit the warmth of your body, most of all of the live enzymes are released. And so it's not even getting into your system. But because ours are bioavailable, they're live enzymes, they're encapsulated, everything gets into your system and it activates, and it is powerful. And so the triplex system for sure can be life-changing. And because we are addressing insulin, we are addressing bowel regularity and magnesium deficiencies, the probiotics are putting the good strains of bacteria back in your system. And so it's a weed, seed, and feed system. And so it truly has changed so many lives. And so with that being said, I'm going to hand it back to you for the last one.
That was interesting. Thank you, Kaylene. So what else is interesting is that you should have a ratio of like 80% good to 20% bad organisms living in your gut. For most Americans, that's flip-flopped. So are we shocked that everybody feels sick and unhealthy? Are we shocked? I mean, so that is why our gut health products are super important and super effective. And if you think back to like our ancestors who didn't have like refrigerators or other technology like that, and they had to grow all their own food, they'd have a big harvest, but they didn't, like, you can't eat all of the food that comes in at a harvest at one time. So what do without a refrigerator or a freezer? They would ferment it. And so they were constantly putting good bacteria back into their guts. We don't do that these days. Like, anybody in here besides Autumn ferment anything? And that's why those are important, and they are effective and they are set apart. I would not go a day without my ProBio 5. I would say that product has changed my health more than any other product. It really has. So I'm very grateful for that. Okay, we're going to talk about ease too, mainly because, well, it's a great product, but there's a special on this product this month when you order a welcome pack or purchase, I think any purchase over, is it $149? If you're already a customer, if you place an order over $149, then you get a free bottle of ease. Or if you are a new customer and you purchase your welcome pack for the first time, you get a free bottle of ease. And I think this product is like $50, isn't it? So it's a great value and it's a powerful product. So this is just a natural anti-inflammatory. And like I said, everything goes back to blood sugar balance, gut health, inflammation, and they're all connected. This is a great addition to Slim, ProBio 5, and BioCleanse, especially if you have high inflammation. So inflammation causes a lot of pain, and inflammation is a good thing. I mean, God gave it to us as a gift because it can actually heal. Like if you think about you sprain your ankle and it gets all swollen, or if you have a cut and it gets infected, it gets all inflamed and red. That's like acute inflammation, something that is like in one spot. But what I'm talking about is systemic inflammation, like chronic inflammation on a cellular level that causes a lot of problems. It's actually called a silent killer because it causes a lot of problems with Americans. What causes it? Well, same things that like insulin resistance, so not having balanced blood sugars, that affects you even if you're not a diabetic, or poor gut health. Those things cause inflammation. So anyways, if you have a lot of inflammation related issues, this is a natural anti-inflammatory. Most people don't want to be hooked on pain pills, or they don't want to take ibuprofen every day because that actually damages the lining of your stomach and causes a lot of other problems. So this is natural. It comes from the New Zealand green-lipped mussel, which is a shellfish. So if you have a shellfish allergy, don't take this. But it is a very powerful natural anti-inflammatory. And it also inhibits enzymes and proteins that produce inflammation and pain. So that's really interesting. But inflammation is the silent killer. It causes things like asthma, arthritis, allergies. My husband takes this for his allergies. Who knew? Bowel diseases like Crohn's, IBS, autoimmune issues. If you have RA, fibromyalgia, lupus, any of those are all inflammation related. So this is a very powerful add-on to the triplex. Okay, so now that's our products, our best-selling products. Now we're going to hear another story. Autumn is going to come and share with us how to ferment. I'm just kidding. Alrighty, well, hello everyone. I have just a few moments to condense what was a pivotal year for the Rush family last year. So I want to just bring a real story to you. Real stories, real people. That is what helps us get to the point of why we would all come out here today. You know, why would we take our time from our busy Saturdays to come here? So I want to start somewhere in the middle. Actually, I want to say my why is right here. I brought a picture of my daughter. So my story includes her. I'm going to start somewhere in the middle, not at the beginning. And that would put us at Salisbury Panera a little over a year ago. I had reached out to Becca, who's my coach, and I've been with Plexus for about a year on the supplements myself. And I was in need. I had a financial need, and I had heard about the Plexus opportunity, and I needed flexibility. And I said, hey, you know, what about this? And she said, yeah, great. I can meet with you. I want to introduce you to Kaylene, and we'll talk about this. So we got there to Panera, and I started to ask them questions. I have no idea about network marketing. I don't hardly know how to work my computer. I have to hand my phone to my kid to help me figure out how to do things. So, but I was open because I really needed something. And I hadn't shared very much with Kaylene or with Becca at the time as to what my need was, but I needed about $400 or $500 a month. So we got there, and Kaylene started to share her story with me, and I heard her say that she came to Plexus suffering with depression and insomnia, and I was like, wait a minute, what? And I remember, like, just like now, like the hairs on my arms stood up because I realized that this was something bigger. This was going to be a bigger answer to my prayers than just the $400 or $500 I needed a month. Because why I needed that money was I had been homeschooling my 12-year-old son, Richard, and my 17-year-old daughter. for a few years, and we had gotten to the point where I couldn't homeschool my 12-year-old anymore because my 17-year-old daughter required 24/7 care. She had been, things had been getting progressively worse with her, her depression and anxiety. And it was pretty much giving her around the clock care. She had spent time in a psychiatric hospital. She was on just revolving prescription medications for anxiety and depression. She was self-harming. It was just a terrible time. It was an extremely scary time for me. And I couldn't homeschool Richard and take care of her at the same time. So I needed to put him in school, and that's where I needed the money. So I saw my daughter, self-harming, and I was I was sleeping in her room with her for about 3 months, just for fear of what might happen if I took my eyes off of her. So that's the dark, scary picture and the desperation with which I went to Panera that day. And but as Kaylene shared her story, I got really hopeful because I had not understood the connection. And I knew that God was multitasking because that's what he does. He was meeting my need and the prayers for my daughter. So he's a great multitasker. And to make a really long, incredible story short, I brought the idea home to my husband. I approached my daughter, Eden, about it, and she was just broken and tired and frustrated. And she said, okay. And so we started her on triplex, which is what's been explained this morning. And it was just incredible. She started to brighten. She started to come to life. And I won't even say that my daughter got her life back. I'm going to say that she got her life, because she has never been as vibrant and functioning as well in the things that we take for granted, like sleep and just being able to move and think and operate as she does now. She's off of her medications. She's not popping the CBD gummies for anxiety to be able to function. She sleeps. And I am forever, forever grateful. So that's my story of hope this morning. That was a tearjerker. So whenever I hit that join now button those years ago, I had no idea what that would mean. Like I couldn't have conceived of how that decision would affect other people's lives that I would probably never meet. But here's what I did know. I knew that these products were special. I knew I wanted everyone I loved on them. Everybody that I deeply cared about, their health and their well-being, I wanted them taking these products because I saw how powerful they were. And I saw the need. And also, the masses don't really understand like what's missing or why they need supplements, or that they should actually spend their dollars on investing in you gotta invest in your health at some point, right? You do it now or you do it through later, right? And I would rather invest in prevention, or even if I had an issue that these products could help with, I'd rather invest in something natural that's actually gonna get to the root of the problem versus put Band-Aids on symptoms with whatever various methods are that are out there. Okay, so when I learned about these products, I immediately saw an opportunity, and I thought, this is something I could get behind. So I have 6 kids. We were homeschooling at the time, and we had one income, and our needs were met. My husband works very hard to provide, and he always has, but we made a lot of sacrifices to live off of one income, and that was our choice. But I did think it would be so fantastic to be able to say yes to more. It just always felt like we were strapped. And I could have been perfectly content living that way if I felt like that was God's plan. Totally could have done that. I was not unhappy. I have a great marriage and great kids and a lot to be thankful for. But I also started studying Proverbs 31 woman, and she was industrious. She had several businesses, actually, had her hands on a lot of things, and she was profitable. And I felt like there were some things I was doing well when I studied that chapter. But then I looked at that and I was like, I want to do that. I want to be a blessing to my family financially, but I was not willing to give up what was the most important to me, which was homeschooling my kids in that season. And so, and also daycare for a lot of children is not, that's not usually profitable. So, by the time you pay for childcare for all those kids, you stay home, right? So anyways, I definitely saw the opportunity, and I was actually looking for something to do. I tried several things, tried several different businesses. I lost money at most of them, or I realized very quickly that this takes a lot of time and I'm really not making much of a profit. Is this even worth my time? And so when I saw these products with this business model, I thought, well, this is something I can get behind. This is something that I feel great about sharing with people. I don't like, I did another company like this before, and I mean, I liked the products, but I almost have like kind of a guilt complex about selling it to my friends, because I was just like, I don't know if they need this, but this is something I firmly believe people need. And so I saw the opportunity. And also, I mean, my dad was a pastor when I was growing up. So I was used to not having money. And also saw how that stressed my mom out when I was growing up, and living off one income, being married and having all of these kids. So it wasn't like new to not have just like an abundance or, savings set aside or whatever. But I did wonder, like, what the people who didn't seem to struggle financially, what did they do differently? Or like, did they know something I didn't? Did they like behave differently? Did that, like, what was the difference? Because I was curious about that, because I knew also that I wanted to do more than just pay bills and die. Like, I knew there's more to life's purpose than that, right? I knew that I wanted more for my family, and like I wanted to be able to provide them with experiences, like go to places we were learning about, and or even just something simple like choose the curriculum I wanted for them, whatever the case may be. But it just seemed like even when my husband got a bonus or when he got a raise, it just like didn't seem like we'd ever get ahead. It just seemed like the needs, so many things we'd say no to, they were all there waiting. And so if there was a little extra, it would go to an actual need. One time we had to take out a loan, a $5,000 loan to cover our septic system that went out, because we didn't have $5,000 sitting around. And just every single month making that payment, I'm just like, this is not a fun monthly payment to have. It's not like, a car or something that's like you can see. I mean, obviously you would notice if you didn't have a septic system, but it just didn't feel fun to make a monthly payment on a septic system. And also, I rarely spent money on myself. I rarely ever did, because we just didn't have it. If we did, like, I just was always focused on like meeting my kids' needs, and there were a lot of kids. So, definitely put myself last. But if I did spend any money on myself, I would feel so guilty. But anyway, so found some books at the library one day. We were there looking for stuff for homeschooling, and I came across a book that was basically about how normal people like me and you become millionaires. And I was like, well, I'm interested to learn this. Interested. So I took that free book home and I read it. And man, it was so eye-opening and also inspiring. And so one thing that they said in this book was, if you don't know where to start, if you don't have a business idea, well, the wealthiest people in the world are business owners, just so you know. They're not like doctors or attorneys or like the people that you would think of as like the highest income earners. The wealthiest people are business owners. And most business owners were like B students in school, or some of them don't even have a degree, you know? And so they said, start with network marketing. And I was like, oh, I know a great one I can start with. Some great products that I feel good about marketing to people that I care about. And so I just saw this as a way, it was a no-brainer for me. I saw this as a way to bless my family financially, but also keep what was the most important to me as the most important to me. And I was an unlikely candidate for success, just so y'all know. What you see now is not what you would have saw then. And so I'm an introvert. So my knees are actually shaking. That's why I wore jeans, so you couldn't see that. I'm an introvert and I didn't know a lot of people. I never had a career or anything. I've always been a stay-at-home mom. So I just didn't know that many people, and I lived way out in the middle of nowhere. So it's not like I could go know a lot of people. Also probably didn't want to know a lot of people because I was an introvert. But and I would if I left my house, it was a lot of work because I have a lot of kids. So it's not like I could like leave my house and go out and just meet people. So I just, for network marketing, you would think like, you gotta have like a certain personality to be successful at that, like be outgoing or something. Or you gotta know a lot of people, or like some kind of it factor, you know, like I think people envision what like a type of person that would be successful. I was none of those things. Everything you would envision for somebody who would be successful at this kind of thing, I was none of them. And here I am. But so what I learned was that network marketing is really just a set of skills. Anybody can learn it and get good at it. And that's what I decided I was going to do. It just seemed like the smart thing to do. Like, here's the business model and the plan and the compensation. Here's the products that change people's lives. I can do it while I'm homeschooling my kids, and I can earn financial freedom. Never any cap on the income I can make. I can do it in my own hours. I don't have to have a boss. Huge plus. So I mean, there was it just seemed like a no-brainer to me to go all in with it. And I was scared. I did do it scared because none of this felt comfortable for me. I was not a natural at this by any means. Every part of this felt, it was like stretching me or like getting me out of my comfort zone. But how it's changed our lives. Well, all my kids are in the best private school in Savannah now. Thank you, Plexus. And I feel like they're getting a much better education that I personally could provide for all of them. So I'm very grateful for that support and being able to afford that. Who I've become as a person. Well, when I started this, I was timid and shy and didn't really have any people skills, didn't really have any influence. And I mean, I definitely was not seeing myself as somebody who would be like a professional businesswoman, or this is actually the second time I've ever worn a blazer. Second time. First time I wore it was a few weeks ago, and that's when I finally felt like a diamond. So anyways, I'm normally in sweatpants and a messy bun, but anyway, so we're living in our dream home that my husband built with his own hands, which is very special. My husband is in construction. So he built our house and he designed it like exactly how my family needed it and wanted it. And he envisioned it, and we live in it now. It's like, it feels surreal. That feels surreal. Also, I'm incredibly thankful because my husband recently injured his back. And so he can no longer do construction related things. And the good thing is we don't have to have his income. We don't even need his income. Now he uses his brain to make money. He actually does draw house plans for people now, and he's very good at that. But I'm just over here like, God knew. Like, what if that happened 6 months ago and we didn't have this opportunity? What if I had let my fear of what people think hold me back from this opportunity, from sharing with people something that could offer them an actual transformation, whether it's with their health or with their financial situation? What if I cared more about what people thought of me, which I did, I definitely cared. But what if I let that hold me back? And I'm so thankful that I didn't. I'm so thankful that I pushed past the fear and pushed past the self-doubt and all those things. So I would say I do make a great income and very incredibly grateful for the blessing that's provided to my family, all the experiences I can provide for my kids now. We travel a lot. My kids, they have a great life and I'm so grateful, but also who I've become. Because I came into this as someone who was not really believing in myself. I didn't really see myself doing something like this. I mean, I had no idea. Didn't come into this with confidence, but now I am confident because I see the fruit. I see what the ripple effect of one decision. And I know that anybody can do it. And I feel very strongly about that. I know that anybody can do it because I've done it. And I know I'm nobody special. I know where I came from. I know my roots. I know that I am just as ordinary as they come. And so that bolsters my confidence and my belief in other people. I know if I can do it, you can too. So it really just starts with a decision. You just decide. The way you do this and the way you be successful at this is you decide that you're going to be, and then you commit to not quitting. Only way to not get to the top is to quit. So if you just commit to not quitting, it's all figure outable, and you can earn financial freedom. You can. Anybody can. You just decide you're going to learn the skills and do what it takes. So that's what I got. Kaylene?
She's a tough act to follow. So basically when I started Plexus, it was for health, and not too many people knew what I was struggling with in my health, but when it came to it, I remember Brittney getting on the phone with me and just welcoming me to Plexus. And she was like, hey, what are your thoughts about, the Plexus opportunity? And at that point I was a very hard no, absolutely not. I'm a pastor's wife. We don't do that. And she asked me one question, and she said, what would an extra $500 to $1,000 mean for you and your family right now? And at that point, I had just gone through, I'm very industrious. I find lots of things that I can do to earn side income as a one income family. My husband is the pastor of this church that we're meeting in today. And it was important for us that I stayed home with my kids. And because childcare is very expensive, we couldn't have afforded it anyway. And so at that point, I had just finished refinishing furniture, doing kitchen jobs. And the last client that I had canceled the check on me right before I got home. The installation was done complete, and they just harassed me for months to get all their money back. And so that just sent me into a complete shutdown of like PTSD. I couldn't think straight. I couldn't sleep at night. Severe anxiety. I wasn't genuinely happy anymore. And so as a pastor's wife, it's super challenging to struggle because you have to be that support for your church family. And so when she asked me, what would an extra $500 to $1,000 mean for you and your family? That was a big deal. Because I was no longer doing these jobs that were going to help us pay for our kids' schooling, that was going to help us pay our mortgage. And we had moved into a rental to pay off debt, to get out of debt. And it ended up being a bigger money pit than what we were already in. And so it got me starting to think, like, there's an opportunity here. And if these products really do what they say they'll do, I was very skeptical. That I was like, maybe I could do something like this. And so stepped into it super hesitant, and started with sharing with a few family members who are here today. And so just starting to see our journeys unfold, coming off of medications, just even myself personally coming back to life, very similar to Autumn's daughter. It was a no-brainer for me too, to know that I could step into this and offer hope for people. I love to connect people. I love networking, finding places, spouses for sisters. I'm good at it. I'm really good at it. 2 for 2. But it just was a very natural fit for me. And it afforded me to be able to stay home with my kids. It afforded me to not have to be out in a garage painting as soon as my husband got home, to be with the kids so I could be out. And so it's just given us family time. It's given us additional finances. And really I'm experiencing this weekend, having Brittney here, pulling into the driveway of our new home that we bought in October that has space for all of us. We have 5 kids. And we just desire to host. That is our passion, my husband and I. And so we have just loved, like we are thriving and we're actually functioning in what we love to do and loving people. And so when people say network marketing is so selfish, it's so greedy, it's only what you make it. This can be a beautiful journey that is others focused and it's servant focused. And so it's just been the biggest gift to step into this and grew my business very quickly, linked arms with just a couple ladies and went to Emerald in 8 months, which is the 3rd highest rank from the top. And it is a 6-figure income. And to go from a one income coming in to having this has afforded us freedom. And so I'm just so grateful that Brittney welcomed me on that call. And she just addressed those and casted that big vision. Like, this is what this could mean for you. So I want to challenge you, if you're here today and you resonate with any of our stories, even health-wise, talk to who invited you today and we can help you get started. And it truly is a life-changing journey. And I'm so glad that you made the time to be here today. So that's the end of that. One second, I'm going to stop the recording.